Two miniature men pried open the refrigerator door and then got into the refrigerator. The girl opened the lid of the ice cream, dug a hand with the palm of her hand, and the borrowed ice cream was delicious. But while he was tasting the delicious ice cream, the younger brother had no strength to hold the refrigerator door. The little girl was directly locked in the refrigerator, and the younger brother's arm was also caught by the refrigerator door, and the father, who was not far away, hurried to see this. He rescued his son from the refrigerator door first, and was about to save his daughter when the owner of the house came home. He asked his son to go home with the battery first, and he got into the refrigerator to save his daughter, and the girl also slid down the ice outlet, and the two hid in the pipe together. Just as the man was holding the juice and wanted to add ice cubes, he pressed the button to get out of the ice cubes. A huge block of ice fell from the pipe, but fortunately, the father used a tool to resist the falling ice, and by the time the man opened the refrigerator to check, the father and daughter had already returned to their home, which turned out to be a group of hermit rangers who were living in a human home. Living materials are obtained from human homes. They call this way borrowing things. This day the little girl came to the boy's handsome room. He hid in the closet to watch TV, accidentally dropped Xiao Shuai's toys on the ground. Xiao Shuai got up to take a look. There was nothing unusual, but when the little girl came out to check, Xiao Shuai covered the little girl with a jar. The little boy grabbed a villain, and his height was less than 5 centimeters, and the little girl claimed to be a villain who borrowed things, and lived in this house since she was a child. But Xiao Shuai told him to move quickly, because this house was going to be demolished, and the grandmother left it to their house. But I couldn't find the will and was going to be taken away, so the little girl's family was put into a box by Xiao Shuai and taken away. But a board smashed the box halfway, and the sister and brother fell from the car. Fortunately they were not flattened by the tires, and waited for the little boy to open the car. Only the girl's parents were found, so Xiao Shuai took them to ride to their hometown, and the siblings returned to the house. And at this moment a fat man opened the door and came in, only to see him taking a stethoscope and a hammer, and then knocking on the wall. Finally, he picked up a hammer and smashed a hole in the wall. It turned out that there was a lockbox here, and it contained the will of the boy's grandmother. Without a will, the boy's parents could not go back to the house, and the fat man was a lawyer who wanted to invade the house, all of which were seen by the sisters and brothers. The fat man wanted to burn the will with a lighter, but the lighter couldn't catch fire, and when he went to find a match, the fat man found that the will actually moved by itself. He thought he was dazzled, but the will went directly into the ventilation duct. When the fat man wanted to stop it, it was too late. The girl folded the will and carried it on her back, and they were about to go to find Xiao Shuai, but at this moment, the fat man smashed the floor with a hammer, and he reached out to touch it, seeing that his brother was about to be caught. The little girl picked up the trident and stabbed it in the fat man's hand, and the angry fat man directly dismantled the floor, revealing the 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms inside. But the sister and brother had disappeared, and then the fat man called the exterminator, only to see the expert pick up the spray gun and insert it into the ventilation duct. Foam poured into the ventilation duct continuously, and the sister and brother ran away when they saw this. The man put the stethoscope on the wall, because there were 2 miniature people in the crack of the wall, and I saw the hammer keep smashing on the wall, and the sister and brother tried their best to escape, but the younger brother was still hooked by the hammer, and then the hammer was taken out of the wall, flew directly to the light bulb, so the exterminator turned on the switch. The younger brother was burned by the hot bulb and smoked. The sister quickly put down the tape measure to save the younger brother, and the fat man raised the hammer and knocked it into the ground, and the younger brother was pulled up in time at the critical moment. The fat man was directly electrocuted into smoke, and then the siblings fled to the roof of the house, sliding on the wires with clips, and came to the eaves of another house, but the fat man chased after him with a hound, and the younger brother accidentally fell into the rainwater pipe, and threw the pipe into a milk bottle. Happened to be recovered by the milkman, and when my sister was sad, a boy crawled out of the sewer, and the two passed through the underground pipe, and came to the milk factory smoothly, only to find that the younger brother was soaked in milk, and the fat man was smashing bottle after bottle in the camera. The boy hooked the switch of the machine with a rope, and then the two of them used their body weight to open the machine tube and spray the cheese directly at the fat girl's parents, who arrived in time to slide through the air and rush to the milk bottle to save their son from the bottle. Before a few people could say a few words, the fat man appeared in front of them, snatched the will from the girl's bag, grabbed them with a broom and dustpan, glued a few people to the machine with duct tape, and drove away. Fortunately, Xiao Shuai came to the factory, rescued them from the machine. The villains got on the underground flying car to chase the fat man, and the fat man came to the demolition office to apply for the demolition of the old house, but as soon as he entered the door of the room was locked, and a group of villains fell from the sky. The fat man was tied up with a rope, and countless villains appeared from all over the place, and the boy called for emergency help, and then Xiao Shuai came here with the police and arrested the fat man in prison, and Xiao Shuai's family moved back to the old house. And the villains also live a happy life. Do you have something in your house that disappears for no reason? Maybe there are villains who borrow things at home. And the film ends here. I am Jinla, we will see you next time.